Hello and welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. We're going to introduce you to just a handful of our adoptable pets in this episode. We have a lot of variety right now on our dog adoption floor, and so we're starting off this week's show with Layla, our Husky mix. She is a beautiful female. She has those trademark icy blue eyes and a lot of energy. In many ways, she's your typical Husky. She's definitely very active, but also kind of does her own thing when she's outside, still learning to have good recall and things of that nature. She can be a little bit nervous at first, but I found that she warms up pretty quickly. She is friendly. She definitely wants to, play bow and pounce and things like that. Definitely seems to be very interested in other dogs, likes to watch them, is very curious about them when she sees them outside. She goes right up to the play yard fence. We think that she might have the propensity to be a bit of an escape artist, just how she kind of puts paws on the fence and things like that when she sees another dog that she's interested in. So making sure that fences are really secure or that she's always being supervised, maybe on a long line when she's outside, might be really helpful for her. Again, she's a beautiful dog. She does, walk fairly nicely on the leash for the most part. Definitely enjoys affection. But because she can be a little bit nervous, we are recommending her for families with no small children. So making sure that kids are old enough to understand body language, make her feel nice and safe, things like that. But if you are a Husky lover and you're ready for, your typical Husky, then go to visit fcac.as.me to book an appointment to meet with Layla. Brooke is one of the youngest dogs we have on the adoption floor right now. She is super cute. Black and white, terrier mix, big smile. Kind of one of our smaller dogs too at 30 pounds. She might get a little bit bigger. She's anywhere from 9 months to a year old. But she's definitely going to be on the smaller side of things, maybe a more medium-sized dog rather than a large dog. So she's a good size for people. Adorable, full of youthful exuberance. She has a lot of energy, but she is a dog that has a nice sit. She does listen fairly well. In my experience, I had her outside. Inside, she's really excited, amped up to go out. But once she's outside, she is a little bit more relaxed. So just, we don't have any restrictions on her, but just being mindful that she can get playfully aroused. She is still learning, appropriate play with humans and things like that. The biggest thing we want to make people aware of with Brooke is that she loves a good meal. She loves a tasty snack. She's learning to take those treats gently. She can be a little grabby with those. And when she's eating, she doesn't like to be bothered. She will eat quicker if you try to take her food away from her. She'll kind of block her food bowl with her body, so putting her body between the bowl and you. So those are things that she needs to learn, that people are not going to take her food. So talking to maybe a trainer about resource guarding, training skills, but also just making sure that when she's eating, everyone in the family, whether they're children or adults, just kind of give her that space while she's learning to trust that people aren't going to take her food. But otherwise, she's a really fun dog. And if you're looking for a fun dog and you don't mind giving her space while she's eating her meals, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to book an appointment to meet with Brooke. Every once in a while, we get an odd couple on the adoption floor, and Paris and Princess are definitely our current odd couple. They are our bonded dogs. Princess is a 2-year-old pug mix, and Paris is a 4-year-old pit bull mix, and they love each other. Paris is a little bit more wary of new things, and Princess definitely gives her confidence. But also Paris can be a little protective of Princess when other animals around, especially if she's feeling uncomfortable. So for that reason, we are recommending that these guys, be not only be adopted together, but they be the only two dogs in the home. They do really well with each other. They can be separated from each other. They don't have like an immediate meltdown if they're separated, but once they're reunited, you can really tell that there is definitely a very deep bond there with those two. So, because Princess is a pug, she might not be equipped for, she's not necessarily built for adventure. You can still take Paris out and go hiking and things like that, and then, come back and pick up Princess and, go for a car ride or something with both of them. So it's not going to be a huge deal if they're separated for short periods of time, but they really do enjoy being together. Um, Definitely check out their behavior assessments. They walk pretty nicely on leash. Um, but reading their medical, some of that they don't necessarily do well with red dyes in their food, so you want to make sure everybody's aware of that. But um, they definitely are a bonded pair, so even though you might be looking for a pug, you get a pug and a pipple mix with this delightful little odd couple. And if that's exactly what you're looking for, go to visit fcac.as.me to book an appointment. In the shepherd category, we have Harvey. He is 3 years old, and Harvey is a super friendly guy. He loves going outside. He's very active. He already has a little bit of training under his belt, so he does know things like sit. He knows, I think, paw, maybe some other things. Still working on, polite leash walking, keeping his feet on the ground. So, definitely has some entry level training, but probably not something that he's been getting consistently. So he still needs to work on that. But he is treat motivated. Staff here said that he's a fun guy. First thing when they met him, they're like, he's going to be a lot of fun for someone. But he's not a fan of restraint. Less is kind of more with him in some regards. Some things, he doesn't necessarily want to have bear hugs or things like that going on. So just being mindful of that. And some of that could be just because he's uncomfortable with that type of interaction, but also he's currently being treated for some skin allergies. So it might be uncomfortable for him just physically having people touching and rubbing on his hard skin, things like that. So definitely check out his medical and make sure that you're comfortable with, how he's being treated and any, allergy related things he may need moving forward. But he enjoys affection. He's got a great smile. Definitely fun for somebody who wants to do training with a dog, and seems to do well with other dogs as well. So if a little bit of allergy issue doesn't bother you and you're not looking to give bear hugs, but you want a fun dog to interact with, then maybe you should check out Harvey. And the first step to doing that is going to visit fcac.as.me. Starting off learning about our next guest, Lex, is obviously he is a good looking dog. He is a beautiful dog. 3 years old. He's definitely an eye catcher. The previous owner told us that he was a pit bull chow mix. Whether that's true or not, that's definitely up for debate. But what's not is that he is a beautiful dog. He is friendly. He's still learning to keep his feet on the ground because he gets super excited, but he seems interested in other dogs. Still working on, a nice, polite leash walk, but does have a really good sit as long as he's not distracted. Inside, he's, ready to sit and take treats gently and very motivated. Outside, when he wants to sniff and kind of go explore, he's a little harder to work with from a training perspective. He enjoys affection. He's definitely an active guy who would do better with an active family. And because he is a little explorer with a propensity to wander, Lex is definitely going to need a family who's prepared to keep him supervised when he's outside in a secure fence, always on a leash, whether it's just a your standard 6 foot leash on a walk or in an open field or your backyard on a long line, just so that he can't run off again. want to make sure that he's staying safe. So that's something to think about. But Lex is definitely a dog with a lot of potential. If you're willing to put the time into doing some of those basic manners things, definitely going to be a fun guy and recommended for families with children of any age. So if you're interested in Lex, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to begin the process of making him part of your home. Coda is definitely worked her way into the hearts of the staff here at FCAC. She came to us fairly recently. Unfortunately, her owners were in a situation where they just weren't able to provide proper care for her, and they realized that, and so they surrendered her to us so that we could go about, getting her to a healthy weight, treating, fleas and any other medical issues she had, and finding her a family who was more capable and of providing her with what she needed. But that being said, Coda has an amazing personality. She's a super resilient dog. She's very fun. She's excited about life and exploring and being outside and sniffing, and she loves affection. But indoors, she can be a little more wary of new environments. It does just take her, a couple days, a week to kind of settle in. We've noticed that, originally the kennel was scary and our processing and medical area was scary. And then the more she goes into those spaces, she's like, oh, it's okay. I've been here before and nothing bad happened. So a little just, basic socialization might be things that she's going to need. Doesn't really seem to understand how to play with toys. She walks fairly nicely on the leash, but doesn't really understand the leash. So she'll kind of wander back and forth, run around you in circles. But a very sweet, very affectionate girl. She did previously live in a home with other cats successfully. So, definitely a dog that will do well in a multi-pet household with cats. She did pretty well with her bath here. So a lot of really good qualities. Just a family that's going to be patient initially is going to be best for her, and still working on some of those basic good manners and socialization things. But if you're ready to take on those things with Coda, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to begin the process of making her part of your family.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed meeting these amazing adoptable pets. Keep tuning in for more.